President Ali Bongo appears in video message from house arrest, asks friends to speak up over military coup. ECOWAS Chairman Bola Tinubu reacts to coup in Gabon, condemns action. And Lagos Blue Rail Line set to commence operations on Monday, September the 4th. Hello and welcome to News Now on TV 360 Nigeria. I am Simisola Adigun. Gabon's President Ali Bongo has appeared in a video calling for his friends to make noise after military officers in the Central African state staged a coup. The military officers staged the coup moment after the National Election Authority said Bongo had won a third term in Saturday's election with 64.27% of the votes. Hours earlier, a group of Gabonese military officers appeared on television announcing they were putting an end to the current regime and cancelling the election. While declaring the cancellation of the vote results, the officers, who introduced themselves as members of the Committee of Transition and Restoration of Institutions, said all the institutions of the Republic had been dissolved. The military leaders also announced they have arrested Bongo's son and close advisor Nureddin Bongo, as well as two top officials in the ruling Gabonese Democratic Party, PDG. They are accused of treason, embezzlement, corruption, and falsifying the president's signature, among other allegations.
I'm Ali Bongo Ondimba, President of Gabon, and I'm to send a message to all the friends that we have all over the world to tell them to make noise, for the people here have arrested me and my family. My son is somewhere, my wife is in another place, and I'm at the residence. Right now, I'm in the residence and nothing is happening. I don't know what's going on. So I'm calling you to make noise, really.
ECOWAS Chairman President Bola Tinubu has reacted to the latest coup in Gabon, where President Ali Bongo has been ousted and placed under house arrest. According to his special assistant on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, the presidency is watching closely with deep concern the seeming autocratic contention spreading across different regions in Africa. Ngelale said the president is working very closely and continues to communicate with other heads of state in the African Union towards a comprehensive consensus on the next steps forward.
His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is watching developments in Gabon very closely with deep concern for the country's socio-political stability and the seeming autocratic contagion apparently spreading across different regions of our beloved continent. The President, as a man who has made significant personal sacrifices in his own life in the cause of advancing and defending democracy, is of the unwavering belief that power belongs in the hands of Africa's great people and not in the barrel of a loaded gun. The President affirms that the rule of law and a faithful recourse to constitutional resolutions and instruments of electoral dispute resolution must not at any time be allowed to perish from our great continent. To this end, the President is working very closely and continuing to communicate with other heads of state in the African Union toward a comprehensive consensus on the next steps forward with respect to how the crisis in Gabon will play out, into how the continent will respond to the contagion of autocracy we are seeing spread across our continent.
To speak more on this development, African Affairs analyst Achike Chude joins me on the news. Thank you very much for joining me. Now, was this move a necessary evil given the alleged flawed election and President Bongo's decision to continue to remain in power?
Yeah. Well, obviously, this is another sad day. But obviously, we have seen that what is going on in one part of the continent is spreading to other parts of the continent. And then what is even sad about it is that it is being heralded by the people. We must not forget that, element when we are talking about the coups that are taking place. They are being welcomed by the people of these countries. And so what it tells you is that the civilians have a very serious disdain and do not have any respect for their civilian rulers who they see as overlords. And so when we are talking about the contagion as put forward by the spokesman for the president in Gelale, when he talks about the contagion of autocracies, in khaki uniform, we should also talk about the contagion of misgovernance across the African continent by people in civilian clothing masquerading as political leaders. Of course, nobody supports military coup, and like I have always maintained, it's an aberration to democracy. But nobody also, no reasonable person also would tolerate the misgovernance that has gone on in the African continent for so long. And so I think it is sad that this is happening, but it is not without its cause. Of course, it is not the way to go because there is no guarantee that even the military adventurers would perform any better than the people that they have removed. But it is also clear that what we have seen after decades of civilian governance in the continent has been misery, poverty, insecurity, incompetence, parochialism, and division of the people among, parochial lines, ethnicity, religions, and geopolitical. This is what has been the fruit of a democratic governance all over the continent. No wonder there's so much poverty, and no wonder there's so much insecurity in the continent, with thousands of youths fleeing their countries because of the misgovernance and the suffering in their continent. It is sad. It's another sad day, really.
All right, so now, at this point, what can the African Union, that's the AU, do to end coups in Africa? Should there be an AU standby force like what ECOWAS is planning, to put in place to counter coups in other countries?
I think it's too late for that. You must have engagements. You must, from now onwards, must begin to ensure responsible behavior by our political leaders. For instance, in Nigeria, there's also something that we could do. I will not tell you right now that if you have this kind of situation, God forbid in Nigeria, military situation, I will not tell you that Nigerians will not hit the street in celebration. There's always that possibility because Nigerians are not in love with their political leaders, and that is the truth. So one of the things that we need to begin to do is for the civilian, or political leaders to sit up. For instance, with regards to the cost of governance, we want. It is absolutely an abomination to have senators, for instance, of the Federal Republic earning as much as the 19 to 27 million naira on a monthly basis. So we want it to reduce to as low as 52 million naira for every senator, and then perhaps about 1.5 billion naira a month for members of the House of Representatives. The same thing we should see across the states, because that is the only thing that can encourage the people to begin to have a feeling that the political leadership, leaders are listening, and so these are the kind of things I expect. So for ECOWAS, the African Union to intervene militarily, I think the horse has left the barn. It is too late for that because It has spread. And this case is no longer isolated. If it was limited to just one or two countries, then you could say, fine, perhaps it could have, military intervention. But it has spread across the continent, and so there must be a completely new approach. Let the political leaders in these countries now immediately, as a matter of priority, begin to show the people that they are ready for governance, begin to cut down drastically on the cost of governance, especially with regards to their personal benefits, and then their remuneration and salaries and allowances immediately. That is the only thing that will begin to send the right kind of message to the people and to the military in those countries.
All right, we'll keep monitoring events as they unfold. African Affairs Analyst Achike Chude, thank you very much for your insights. Moving on, the Lagos State government has announced that the first phase of the Blue Rail line will commence commercial operations on Monday, September the 4th. Speaking at the Blue Rail Line terminal in Marina on Tuesday, the Managing Director, Lagos State Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, Abimbola Akinjo, said Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is expected to be the first passenger for takeoff at 9 a.m. at the Marina station. She added that from Tuesday, September 5, partial passenger operations will start from 6:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. for morning peak and 4 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. for afternoon peak. The train operations, according to Akinjo, will start with 12 trips for 2 weeks, which will later be increased to 76 trips per day. According to her, the transport palliative announced by Governor Sanwo-Olu will also reflect on train transportation. To reflect on the conduct of the 2023 general elections and identify areas for improvement ahead of future elections here in Nigeria, the Peering Advocacy and Advancement Center in Africa, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency, have hosted a 2-day post-election meeting with civil society, organizations and groups that observe the polls. Disclosing the outcome of their findings, the CSOs say that the critical meeting is necessary to address the challenges encountered during the general elections, as well as plan towards the off-season elections in Bayelsa, Imo and Kogi states later in the year. Our correspondent, Folashade Ogurinde, has more details in this report.
This significant event aims to foster dialogue, engagement, and collaboration among various stakeholders in the aftermath of the widely contested 2023 general elections. It also provides a neutral and inclusive space for open conversations and constructive discussions in the evaluation of the election. Here, observers say the elections witnessed a major change from what used to be obtainable, especially in the area of technology.
Our election has leapfrogged from a situation in which, for instance, you are dealing with incident forms. How many people know that incident forms have disappeared? In an election in which 87 million people collected PVC and less than 30 million people voted, and in states where you have 7 million, 6 million, 3 million, those states are not able to do up to 1.6 million, 2 million. That tells you that technology had a role to play.
In a report released by the Center for Transparency Advocacy, findings show that many Nigerians do not understand the role of civil societies during elections, as voter apathy among citizens also holds sway.
What happens with voter apathy is that people who come out to vote think that they are doing it for other people. They don't understand first that it's a fundamental right, their own right. It is a responsibility, because when you have rights, you have responsibilities. And when you understand that this is your responsibility, you don't think that you are doing it on behalf of somebody else. You are doing it for yourself. You are doing it for the future generation. So if you say because a process didn't go well, you want to go and say, it means that you are reneging on your responsibility. Your responsibility as a citizen that is 18 years old, first of all, is to get registered and ensure that you are part of the electoral process by voting.
In the aftermath of the 2023 elections, mixed reactions have trailed the general performance of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). While the electoral umpire has begun preparations ahead of the off-season elections in Bayelsa, Imo and Kogi states, stakeholders say the electoral process in the country must continue to improve. Folashade Ogurinde, TV 360 News.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, European Union weighs sanctions on Niger amid the latest coup in Gabon. Stay with us for details of the story and more when we return. Welcome back. Let's take you through a recap of our major stories. Gabon's President Ali Bongo has appeared in a video call for his friends to make noise after military officers in the Central African state staged a coup. The military officers staged the coup moment after the National Election Authority announced Bongo that he had won a third term in Saturday's election with 64.27% of the votes. The military leaders also announced they have arrested Bongo's son and close advisor Noureddin Bongo, as well as two top officials in the ruling Gabonese Democratic Party, PDG. They are accused of treason, embezzlement, corruption, and falsifying the president's signature, among other allegations. We also told you that the Lagos State government has announced that the first phase of the Blue Rail line will commence commercial operations on Monday, September the 4th. Speaking at the Blue Rail Line terminal in Marina on Tuesday, the managing director, Lagos State Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, Abimbola Akinjo, said Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is expected to be the first passenger for takeoff at 9 a.m. at the Marina station. According to Akinjo, train operations will start with 12 trips for 2 weeks, which will later be increased to 76 trips per day. According to her, the transport palliative announced by Governor Sanwo-Olu will also reflect on train transportation. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
Wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Welcome back. Let's now join Mary Kanu, who's on standby with business news. Over to you, Mary.
Many thanks, Timisola. Welcome to Business News. In a bid for Nigeria to attain sustainable growth and achieve an increase in domestic product exports, the Islamic Chamber Halal Services and the Coalition of the Northern States Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture have signed a Memorandum of Understanding on Trade Agreement. Speaking of the 2023 Halal Expo in Lagos, the former Minister of Defense, Adetokunbo Kayode, said the partnership with Halal will increase the rate of export from Nigeria to other African nations. Other trade organizations and government agencies acknowledged the huge opportunities and potential of the halal economy for Nigeria and Africa.
Halal economy is very big all over the world. It is $1 billion economy. And Nigerian, having more than 100 million population, Islamic population, we have a right to be actively involved in this. So part of the things we hope to achieve is to see how we can deepen and as well widen our engagement with halal economy. Not only for domestic production, but mainly for export also, because we are in a position to produce good halal products, duly certified halal products to all Islamic countries of the world, and even non-Islamic countries.
This is a very, very important project, because this gives us an opportunity that if our products are certified and they now have an opportunity to be exported out of this country, especially as far as the African Continental Free Trade Area is concerned, where there are 54 other countries in Africa that require some of our services, and Nigeria should be well braced to deliver these services to them.
We'll take a break. I'll be back with Stock Market Review. Stay with us. Well, just one day after hitting a 15-year high, Nigeria's equities market has closed in the red zone, its first decline this week, as investors took profit from its recent rally. The market decreased by 0.08%, that is 28 billion naira, shed off the market's value, although the all-share index has maintained the 66,000 level. Now, shared in 70 Kaba, we see Transnational Corporation emerge as the market's biggest loser for today, although market breadth closed positive with 27 gainers against 24 losers. At the close of trading, 637 million shares were traded in what is the highest number of deals the NGX has witnessed in a while, over 10,000 deals. Now, this figure is not unrelated to the market's performance and the previous trading session, as more investors decided to test the waters with hopes of profit taking. Over now to the global market, our select global stocks, the FTSE, Dow Jones and Nikkei, are all on track for a four-day winning streak as investors assess new U.S. economic data. And that's the stock market report. Simisala, back to you.
Thank you, Mary, for the update. And the European Union says it is considering sanctions on Niger amid the latest coup in Gabon. According to reports, defense and foreign ministers are discussing the possibility of sanctions at an informal summit in Toledo, Spain, after military forces in Niger last month deposed President Mohamed Bazoum, who was democratically elected in 2021. Gabon and Niger follow Burkina Faso, Guinea, Mali and Chad as the latest African countries where the army has in recent years seized control. All of these countries former French colonies. Speaking to journalists ahead of the meeting, top EU diplomat Joseph Borrell said the Gabon coup could increase instability in the whole region. He said that during the two-day meeting, ministers will need to have a deep thought on what is behind the spate of coups in the region. And in sports, Super Eagles midfielder Wilfred Ndidi got the highest rating after helping Leicester City overcome League Two club Tranmere Rovers in round 2 of the Carabao Cup on Tuesday night. In the rating arranged by sports media outfit Leicester Mercury, Ndidi, who came on in the second half, opened the scoring in the 55th minute and provided the assist for Jamie Vardy for Leicester's second goal on 59 minutes. Following his impressive performance, Ndidi was rated 8 out of 10 minutes, the highest by any Leicester player of the night. The Nigerian midfielder has had an impressive run for the Foxes, playing almost 250 games and eased Leicester City into the Carabao Cup third round. Well, that's our bulletin on News Now this evening. Thank you for watching. I'm Simisola Ajigun.